So what makes a business webinar great? It's certainly not who's running it, is it? Because the joy of the webinar is surely its egalitarianism. Any size business can hold one. You get to engage with your customers anywhere in the world, very simply and affordably. You don't need a big budget online platform or a ginormous ad spend. If your audience hangs out on LinkedIn and you're well connected with good email lists, shouldn't be a problem. So ruling out size and budget, what is the magic that makes one webinar great? What happens at the ones that really hold your attention, that get you signing up for the next webinar if that's what they want, or whatever it is that the sponsor of the webinar wants you to do? Now, content is vital. Absolutely. And we sign up for a webinar usually because we think we're going to learn something of value on it, or maybe get a chance to meet someone useful. And even though we know that the business running it is doing so to boost its brand, to flog us something, or to pick our brains, we accept that because it's giving us something that we want. And hopefully we're going to learn more and like the service, product, whatever's behind it as well. That's what the event organizer obviously wants. However, it doesn't matter how awesome your content is if your approach at the webinar is just too salesy, if you've got a whole load of people speaking in monotonous voices, just talking at the audience, and the delivery quite often in that case is obviously going to be amateur and flat, then we aren't going to leave feeling great things about the person or the organisation behind the webinar. The difference between a great event and a bad event is coming from, yes, the value that the audience gets, but it's also the enjoyment that they feel, whether they are inspired by it. And if they leave feeling positive about their engagement with the business who sponsored it, that's a great event. So how do you make sure that you've got all that? Well, first of all, really make it varied. Don't just have one speaker bleating on for an hour. Have at least 3 different sessions with lots of breaks for Q&As as well. Bring in some polls. Maybe have the sessions being a little bit different. So, one speaker is being interviewed by somebody, one is speaking on something really unusual, and then maybe the other speaker is sort of taking part in a panel. Limit the amount of slides that you show and just make it more fun. And also, it's worth remembering, employing someone to host or MC it is going to maximize audience engagement and enjoyment, and that's how they're going to do what you want them to do at the end. So it is going to be a great return on any investment you need to make. And I think as well, don't just think, oh, we're not going to book an MC unless we get a really big audience. Whether you've got 30 or 300 people logging in, the audience, however small or big, should be the priority. And that's actually an MC's job. Their focus, everything they do is about the audience, giving them a good time. It's about making sure that there's no selling, playing that down, asking intelligent questions, making it fun, handling the glitches, just general charm and humour, and giving your webinar a bit of poise, presence and patter. Whether you agree with me or not, I'd really love to hear what you think. So put them in the comments below, please.